Today is a massive food hunt all around the state of Perak in Malaysia.
We are going to be driving hundreds of kilometers all around Perak to find the best food. We're traveling around the state of Perak in Malaysia to find some of its most famous dishes. We're taking you on a huge food tour to track down traditional local food. There is going to be a ton of delicious eats.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
We're starting our Perak food tour in the city of Kampar, and we have come to this hawker centre for a quick breakfast snack. We are starting with this beautiful looking parcel of pulut or glutinous rice. You can see that the sticky rice has been cooked in some sort of soy mixture. It's topped with these beautiful slices of char siu or barbecue pork, and then we've got a little sprinkling of roasted peanuts. Let's give this little beauty a go. The guys were doing a really brisk business, and I think we got pretty much one of the last parcels. I can see why these were selling like hotcakes. That sticky rice is so much flavor. There's some fried shallots mixed in through there, so that gives it a bit of extra oomph. That char siu or barbecue pork is just really thinly sliced, just adds a bit of texture, and then those roasted peanuts are amazing. They add this beautiful earthiness and fragrance to the dish. That is a great start to our breakfast tour. We're now going to jump into the car and head to the next spot.
We were driving to our next stop and we came across something you will see all over Perak at this time of year. Durian stands. So it's December, it's Jerian season. This is a pretty controversial fruit that I love. So let's try some of the local Jerian. We've grabbed this gorgeous little durian. Look at this little guy with these beautiful big lobes of fruit inside. So durian is very controversial because some people love it, some people hate it. It smells pretty strong. I think it has a beautiful, fragrant, flowery smell. Oh, and this one smells beautiful. But this whole area, as soon as we stepped out of the car, you could smell it. Actually, you could smell it while we were still in the car, so it's very strong. Some people liken it to the sewer or dirty socks. I liken it to roses. It's a beautiful smell. Now this here is a Kampung Durian or a village durian. So you can get, when you're in the city, you often see branded durians. So D24, EXO, Musan King, which are all crossbred durians, but these are village durians. So these are what they are. They come off the tree and it is what it is. Oh, look at that beautiful lobe of durian. So it's one big lobe, but in there is a number of seeds. So I'll just break it up a little bit. Let's just grab this bit off the end. This feels really, really creamy. Let's try some. Oh, it's super creamy. Almost like whipped cream when you've only just taken it over to be whipped. So it's not actually really solidly whipped, it's still quite runny. The flavor is quite bitter, has a little bit of an alcohol sort of twinge to it. It's fruity, obviously. It's kind of floral. Let's try a bit more. Oh, it's the most perfect strength. That bite actually had almost a little bit of wateriness to it, but in kind of a good way. It sort of broke the extra creaminess a little bit. Grab another lobe out. Oh, look at it. I love how it just comes free from the shell like that. This beautiful little lobe. Let's try a bit more. Oh, it is so creamy. There's a small skin on top, and as soon as you break through that, you've got this extra, look at that. Wow, extra creamy durian. It's got a beautiful bitterness just thronging through my mouth. It's a really good bitter because it's mixed perfectly with sweet. And I love how you can drive around Perak, pull in pretty much anywhere. There seems to be hundreds of Jerian stands. You see one every 200 or 300 meters when you're driving. So plenty of options. So if you need Jerian in your life, if you haven't tried Jerian, if you want to try Jerian, make sure you come to Perak in December because it is everywhere and it is so good. Now if you're enjoying this video as well, make sure you pop down below, hit subscribe and give it a thumbs up.
Really excited about the next dish on this food tour. We have come to this tiny village called Jeram, which is just outside of Kampar, to find this legendary Hakka dish called Liew. And it's very hard to find in Malaysia because not very many people still make it. Let me talk you through what it's all about. It's basically known as a superfood dish. It is packed with all these different ingredients. We've got some peanuts here, some white onion. This here is some pickled dried radish, I think. There's some shrimp there that's been dried and fermented. There's some beans here. There's some really vivid greens. Some spring onions, and also I think that might be slivers of tofu, and then it's all sitting on top of white rice. It comes with this bowl of really green viscousy liquid. Look at that. It just looks packed with nutrients, which I think is what our body needs after all this eating that we've been doing on our road trip. I keep saying I'm really excited about this because it's a Hakka dish, and my grandmother is Hakka, but I've never tried this, so I am keen to get stuck in. First I'm going to start with this bowl of soup because I'm really just curious about how it's going to taste. Let's give it a go. Oh, that is really good. It's so flavoursome. It tastes very green, if you know what I mean. It looks green, but it tastes like it's just been made out of vegetables and leaves that have just been pounded and pounded. So it tastes very herbal. I'm going to give it another go. It almost has an aniseed or licoricey flavour. And a little bit of a hint of mint. What you're supposed to do is eat this rice mixture. Some people then like to just accompany it with spoonfuls of this soup. Others like to mix it into their rice. But the lady who owns the stall said I should try the rice bowl by itself first. I think the best thing to do is to just mix everything up. Oh look, there's some chopped beans in there as well. Mix everything up and get those flavors really working. Oh wow, this just looks like a picture of health. Our bodies are going to be so thankful after eating this. Alright, let's just get a big spoonful with everything in it and try it. Peanuts, the soft sweetness of those onions, the vibrant crunch of the beans, and you can really taste those really dark green leaves in there. The rice is really loose and fluffy. It's just a really savoury dish. That is so good.
On this epic food road trip, we've now driven to the town of Bidor for a famous dish, and that is a double boiled duck leg. Look how amazing that looks. Look at the skins, and that's cooked in a herbal broth, and it comes with a yellow noodle which has some sweet sticky soy sauce in it, a few greens, and I have a side of pickled chili, so in some vinegar and just some nice big green chilies pickled in that vinegar to go with it. Let's start by trying this broth. The smell is incredible. So it's very watery, the broth. Let's just try some. Wow. Oh, I've got a little bit more on that spoon. I gotta eat it. Oh wow. So it's got that herbal sort of Chinese taste, but then the duck flavor is just bursting out of that duck leg into the broth. Oh, that's adding so much good flavor. Look at this duck leg. Look at all that meat and then all that skin, and look how it's just peeled away from the bone. You can see how well that's cooked. So I'm gonna try and just rip a big bit off. Oh, look how easily that came away. That's incredible. So we'll put that big bit on the noodles, and I want to grab some of these pickled chilies. Look at those. We'll dump those on top. We'll get another big one. Put that right on top. Let's take a big mouthful. All the noodles are a little bit stuck together. Let's pull those apart. Oh, look at all that sweet soy sauce covering those. Alright, let's try and get some noodles free. Big piece of duck. Good chili. Oh, that duck is incredible. It just breaks apart. It's not that fatty. Duck can sometimes be quite a fatty meat, but it's all broken down beautifully because of that long cooking process. And this restaurant has been here a long time. Since the 1940s they've been making this dish, and they've got these incredible big steamers up the front. So all this duck is just sitting in the steamers, bubbling away. And my gosh, they have perfected this. Let's rip a bit more off. So we'll just grab, oh, I'm doing nothing to pull that off. That's incredible. I just want to have some duck with a couple of those chilies on there. Oh, the chilies are not that spicy. Just a burst of sweetness and tanginess. And then that duck is really special. That broth it's in is so light and just well-rounded. It's not too herby, it's not too ducky. Absolutely perfect. I've just easily stripped that drumstick of all the duck meat. So easy to pull that off. And then down in this broth, I've found all these goodies. So there's huge pieces of ginger. There's a longan on there, which is a type of fruit. We've got, what else? Let's just have a dig around. I've got another longan there. There was a big something floating around. Oh, look at that. Ah, so that looks like a big bit of ginger as well. So you can see why it's got those beautiful flavors when there's pieces that big floating around in that broth. Unreal. I'm gonna have a little bit more broth because it's so good. Oh, I could just drink that whole tub. That is great. I've just eaten some of what I thought were these big bits of ginger in the broth, and it's not. It's some sort of like medicinal herbal root. So we asked the lady here, and she said it's called Besar. So we don't know the translation of that. If anyone knows, let us know down in the comments. It adds just that really medicinal flavor. So there is still the ginger. This big piece here is a ginger root, so that's adding the ginger flavor, but it's this piece here that's different, and it kind of is like sweet potato. It's really soft. The texture of potato has a bit of a sweetness to it. It's really good.
We've come to our next stop to try one of Perak's most famous dishes, Rendang Tok. Let's go and find out what it's all about.
Alright.
This dish here is the Rendang Tok, which is famous in Perak. So Rendang is a spicy meat dish, and it's quite a dry looking dish, but you can see that the chunks of beef have been cooked with a wealth of spices and aromatics. So you can see lemongrass there, there will be galangal, heaps of dried spices like cumin and fenugreek, all sorts. So that's going to be bursting with flavour hopefully. And what's cool about this restaurant is that they serve their nasi or their rice in bamboo. So the rice is wrapped up in a banana leaf and then cooked inside this bamboo. So I'm just going to unwrap that. Whoa, it's steaming hot. And then get a taste of this Rendang Tok going. I'm just going to grab a little piece of that beef. It's actually, it feels really dry, but we'll give it a go and find out what that tastes like. There was also a ton of different other side dishes, but with the rice set, we got some sambal, some toasted coconut. There's a dried fish here, which is bound to be super salty, some cucumber, and then just some leaves, maybe some tapioca leaves, I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to grab a bit of that coconut, sprinkle it on the rice, get one of those salted fishes, some cucumber, and some of those tapioca leaves. The lunchtime entertainment has started up, so sorry if it's a bit loud. We also got a huge pot of this gulai or gravy or curry sauce. So I'm just going to spoon, whoa, look at that. Well, I mixed that up and it had all just settled to the bottom, but I can see some onions in there, some curry leaves. All right, let's just water our rice with that gravy and then get eating. Okay, so I'm gonna get a mouthful with some of that gravy and then break apart that piece of beef. So it looks dry, but it's actually not hard at all to break apart. You can see the meat just sort of flaking away as I pull it. All right, let's try it. I'm so excited. That beef. I keep saying it looks so dry because it does. Like, it looks completely just devoid of all moisture. But the meat is so tender. It just broke away in my mouth and I could really taste those spices. I'm just going to try a bit of that beef by itself without any rice. Oh. You can really taste those dried spices. There's a tiny hint of chili. You can taste the galangal, the fenugreek and the coriander seeds. Oh, that's really good. Another thing that we ordered was this lamb that's been cooked with a banana stem, and we've heard that banana stem is also quite well used in Perak and cooked with a gravy. So let's give that a go. It looks super tender. It almost looks a little bit like pieces of leek. So I'm going to pour that onto my rice and try that. Oh wow! I just touched it and it fell apart. It really does have the look and feel of leek. So it's just broken away in sections. Let's try that. Oh, it's quite bitter. And it's just really just so soft, so tender. It's just been cooked right down. But the overriding flavour is the bitterness. I think that's going to go really well with the meaty lamb.
We've jumped in the car and we've driven to Teluk Intan for dinner, and this is one of my favourite things, Chee fan. Let's go check it out. Chee fan is a rice noodle roll, and I've just been led into the kitchen to see how they make them. So incredible. They've got this really well soaked rice which they're putting through some sort of grinder, and coming out the other end is almost a rice milk. It's a rice batter though. It's so thin though. It's like milk, the texture of it. That then gets spread very, very thinly on a tray. They throw on, I think it is some preserved radish onto that mixture. It then gets put on a conveyor belt system which takes it through a huge steamer, but it doesn't spend long in that steamer because it's so thin, that rice batter. Once it gets to the other end of the steamer, after only a few minutes, so maybe 2 minutes max, it gets whipped off the tray, rolled into an amazing roll where you can see all of that radish coming through the noodle because it's so thin. It then gets dropped onto some newspaper, folded up, some preserved chilies, or some pickled chilies, sorry, get thrown in with the packet, and then it's ready to eat. Now this restaurant is pretty much just for takeaway, so we're sitting at the only table they have, but our little packets are the newspaper ones too, and there's just hordes of people taking these things away. Let's open it up and have a look. So there's those pickled chilies I spoke about. Look at it. It's incredible. It looks like one of those dogs from 101 Dalmatians. I'm not even sure what they're called, but
Dalmatian!
a Dalmatian, of course. Look how spotty it is. Wow. So I'm just going to try some. Look how thin, oh, those rice noodles are. It's quite easy to hold. Often this dish just falls apart when you pick it up. This has got a bit of substance to it. Let's try it. Oh. Oh. Some little crunchy bits in there as well. Oh, the preserved radish has got a really strong preserved flavor. I'm just gonna grab a whole nother bit. Oh my god, it's so smooth. That's incredible. The rice flavor is quite subtle. It just breaks apart in your mouth. I can't stop eating this. Let's grab some more. I'm gonna put a couple of these chilies on top. So I reckon that'll really add to this mouthful. Look at that perfect bite. Oh, wow, that was good. Wow, that's amazing. Those chilies take it up to another level. That is incredibly tasty. Sheena, you've got to try this. This is really special.
I've got to get in and try this. Alright, I'm going to grab some of this pickled chili and then this piece of Jeram right here. Let's just go for it. Whoa! That is unlike any Jeram I've ever eaten. The rice noodle roll is almost gooey, and then that pickled radish or turnip, I don't quite know what it is just like punctuating each mouthful or each chew with a bit of freshness and zing. And then we've also found these tiny little dried shrimp in there, which are adding a little bit of crispiness or chew. This is so incredible, and the customers are pouring in and buying 10 or 20 packets at a time. This is sensational. I can totally see why.
There's one bite left and look at it. Could it not be more perfect? I've got a ton of chilies on this one, a little prawn tail. It looks so good, and it definitely is turnip inside, because the guys just brought out these huge tubs that are behind me. So that's what they're putting inside. Let's go. That is unreal. That is so good.
Woo, that was an epic Perak food tour. We hope you enjoyed it and found it super delicious.
It was so good, so much good food here. Remember to hit subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment down below. We love to hear from you.
Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Jumpa lagi!
Jumpa lagi!